I'm Riley from Pack Hacker, and we are taking a detailed look at the Côte&Ciel wrist sport. Head on over to packhacker.com for more information, links in the description below. So the first thing we're going to do is actually just put this on so you can get an idea of what it looks like. I'll give you a quick 360. We found it to be pretty comfortable overall. However, we do have a few notes about the harness system as well as a bunch of other things. So we'll just go ahead and get into the Côte&Ciel wrist sport. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this bag. We're gonna go ahead and flip it over and start with the harness system like we were talking about before. So you have a shoulder strap here. It's just some nylon. It's not super padded, but it has been pretty comfortable in our testing. We haven't had any issues. It's not riding up or anything, which is great. And something we really appreciate about the strap is that it's always managed. So we don't have a whole bunch of dangling going on, which is great. We like to get that dangle-free experience. These are attached in an odd spot. They're not attached directly to the bag. They're actually around these two handles right here. These are just some folded nylon webbing. So again, not super padded, but still pretty comfortable on the hand, which is nice. These handles also work if you are hoping to like grab the bag. So when it's face down, you can just use both hands to pick it up. But they're not super effective like if the bag is lying on its back, because they are shielded. So we would have appreciated just like a nice top handle right here. It would have been a little bit more handy for when we have the bag like this or like leaning against a chair or the wall. But still, these work easily enough. Also with the strap, you do have a stability strap that you can go ahead and buckle in. Right here, it's a nice NIFCO buckle that's been staying pretty secure during our testing, so that's nice. No strap keeper on this end, but the strap still stays pretty slim down, so again, not really a huge issue with dangle, which we appreciate. We found that this stability strap helps really well with creating like a more even carry. Sometimes this thing, when we've got it packed up, can feel a little heavy, and so when we clip this in, it just feels like we're distributing the weight a little more evenly, like we said, so that way it's a little more comfortable, especially when we're wearing it for longer periods of time, like on longer walks. So yeah, and then if you're not using the stability strap, you can always just unbuckle that, buckle it into this right here on the back, pull it tight, and then it's nice and clean. However, we have noticed that when we are wearing the bag that this buckle right here kind of digs into our back a little bit. So we found it more comfortable not only for the even carry to use the stability strap, but so it's not poking into our back when we are out and about. We'll undo the strap and show you this back pocket you've got right here. This works for flatter items we found. We try not to keep anything too bulky back here, especially because it's lying against our back, which can get, uncomfortable. Like we said, the buckle pokes into our back, so we don't need anything else poking into our back, As for the back panel itself, not really any mesh or anything, no mesh at all going on. So not too much breathability, but even though it's an all black bag, we haven't really had any issues with that swamp back or anything, or excess sweat even when we're out in the summer heat, which is good. That's good. So we're gonna clip this back up and flip this bag around. So looking at this front material right here, it's nice and rubbery. It's pretty soft to the touch. We did accidentally spill some water on here during testing. It beads off pretty quickly. There is a little bit that stays, but it dries pretty quickly. So that's nice. However, this material itself is more just for aesthetic. It kind of makes this bag look, sleek and professional, which we've been enjoying. We like the way this looks when we've got it on. So yeah, the bag itself, though, the rest of this bag is made just with some polyester, as you can see. That's been working well in our testing. It's been holding up. For branding, you have a nice little subtle debossed Côte&Ciel logo right here, and you can also see it a little bit on the metal zippers. And speaking of the metal zippers, those have felt pretty durable. They're from YKK, super trusted brand. So we haven't had any issues there. They've been working pretty all right. So let's get into this front compartment here. The compression straps on here are attached with these buckles. They kind of look like how you would adjust a pair of roller skates, for example. We don't really know that it fits in super great with the sleek and professional aesthetic that we talked about earlier. They also aren't like the easiest to undo. You can't just push these down and unbuckle them, and they come out, you know, pretty easy, but we don't really like fiddling with these too much when we're trying to get inside the main pocket, especially because you can still get inside even when they are attached. So we've mostly just been keeping those secure, but again, doesn't really fit the sleek aesthetic that we've got going on with the rest of the bag. But yeah, so we will look at this main compartment here. Before we get into it, you'll notice that there's this nice front flap here. This is made with this super comfortable, like cushy kind of mesh. Like we said, it's pretty comfortable in the hand, nice and padded. However, this feels a little bit like a waste of space right here. We have these compression straps that work for, you know, cinching the bag down, and they also work for expanding the bag when you have maybe some bulkier gear. However, if your gear isn't all that flat, if it is bulkier, it kind of makes this look flat, which gives the bag like an odd look when we've got it on our back. So we've mostly just been keeping smaller, miscellaneous, and flat things in this front compartment. But let's go ahead and get inside. So we have just the Bellroy zip wallet in here. We'll set that off to the side. A small notebook, as well as a Felix and Gray blue light glasses case. For material, it's a little bit different from that swishy, like traditional liner that you would find in bags. It feels a little bit more rugged, a little bit more capable, still smooth in the hand though, which is nice. It's a pretty deep pocket. You've got a lot of space in here for, you know, your miscellaneous gear or smaller gear, but not a lot of organization for your much smaller gear. You do have a pocket in here against the front flap that is zippered, so you can throw, like for example, we've just been keeping some pens in here so they're not jostling around in the compartment, small cloth face mask, and just some hand sanitizer in an amber glass bottle. The pocket's not too big, so really you can't fit a ton in here. Everything else that you can't fit in here will have to free float in the compartment, so your more valuable or things like hand sanitizer you'll want to keep in here so that way it's not spilling or getting tangled up all with your gear. There's also not a dedicated key clip anywhere on this bag. However, as you can see, we have been able to attach a carabiner that our keys are attached to through this loop on the metal zipper here on this pocket. So if you don't want those free floating in the compartment, you can always attach those here. And they're not weighing down the pocket at all or slowing down the zip. So this is a nice alternative if you have, you know, just like a medium to small carabiner on your keys. But yeah, that is the front compartment. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the main compartment. You've got a nice weather-resistant zipper right here. We have found that this one is a little bit stickier, especially around these corners. You've got two of them here. But once we're inside, as you can see, got a little bit more space too. Still works best for flatter items. We've got just a moleskin notebook in here, as well as our MacBook Pro charger and block. And then against the back, we've got a laptop sleeve. It fits a 13-inch laptop. That's what we've been testing with. We've got ours in a plastic case because there is no false bottom in here. So you're not getting that added protection for when you set the bag down or if you were to accidentally drop it. So we definitely recommend keeping it in a protective case if that's a problem with your bag, like if there's no false bottom like there is in here. So same advice. It clips with a magnetic little strap here. It doesn't always connect on the first try. It kind of connects a little bit but doesn't get totally secure, so we usually just have to kind of nudge that into place. But once it is, it's pretty sturdy. It's not coming undone unless we're really tugging on it, so no issues there. Again, material is that same smooth, more rugged lining material than the traditional swishy nylon or swishy lining material that you'll see in some other bags. But yeah, and then again, flatter items have been working in here. Anything too bulky, and it can kind of bulk the bag up, give it a not the greatest look. But yeah, we will zip this back up here. And then just something else we want to talk about real quick with the carry. You probably noticed this when we did that 360 in the beginning, but when we have the bag on, there's a little bit of a dip here in this back panel, so it can feel kind of like the bag is a little bit farther away from your back. It's not as bad when we have a laptop compartment or a laptop in the laptop compartment. It kind of gives it a little bit more structure. But again, that's just something to know. Just want to make sure you were aware of that. But yeah, so there you have it. This is the Côte&Ciel Wrist Sport. Head on over to packhacker.com to check out the full review, link in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video.